Hi everyone. In a belated blow to Canadian soccer, FIFA has suspended Canadian women's soccer captain Christine Sinclair for 4 games. The organization accuses Sinclair of displaying unsporting behavior during the hard-fought match between the U.S. and Canada at the London Olympic Games, where a number of controversial calls went against the Canadian side. Canada lost the match in extra time, but Sinclair and some other team members complained that they felt cheated by the referee, which they were. Sinclair is being suspended for nothing more than telling the truth. And the Canadian men's team is playing Cuba tonight in Toronto in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. Lethbridge Hurricanes will try to earn their first win in the month of October in 2 years. This month has been downright scary for the Canes. They're 0-18 dating back to October 2010. The Canes welcome the Prince George Cougars to town tonight. Game time is 7 o'clock at the NMAX Centre. The Medicine Hat Tigers have traded 20-year-old forward Cale Kessie to Vancouver. The Tigers will receive a conditional 5th-round pick in the 2015 WHL Bantam Draft. Tigers are in Red Deer tonight. Kootenay hosts Saskatoon. Fresh off a 3-game U.S. road trip, the University of Lethbridge Pronghorns men's hockey team is back in Canada West Conference action tonight, taking on Regina. Here's Daryl Rummold with a preview.
Practice on Thursday had a very serious tone as the Pronghorns readied themselves for Regina. The focus of much of it was special teams, an area that cost the Horns dearly on their U.S. road trip. The Minnesota Golden Gophers, Minnesota State Mavericks, and Nebraska Omaha Mavericks overpowered the Horns, outscoring them 17-2 and outshooting them 179-36.
Averaging 60 shots a game going into this weekend. Hopefully, I'm just expecting 40 a game. So.
I mean, obviously we had a pretty tough weekend, but it's nice to be back home and being in our home rink, and we got to come out strong and just work together as a team.
By the end of the trip, the Horns were without 5 key players. All but one are recovered and will be in the lineup tonight.
I think we're pretty young in this league, so I think if we use our our youth to our advantage and use all of our energy, then we can pounce all over teams pretty easily.
The Horns coaching staff says the next 2 weekends will be critical to the team's success going forward. They face 2 teams in UBC and Regina that they must beat in order to make the playoffs and make a push this season.
We're playing against men, so anything can happen on any given night kind of thing. Coming off 0-3 road swing down with the NCAA teams, we're looking for a win. We want one. So we're not going to take anybody lightly coming into this weekend regardless who we're playing.
Yeah, you can never really look past anyone. I mean, anyone can beat any team on any night, so you got to play every team just as hard as you can. So yeah, you can't look past anybody really.
Daryl Rummold, CTV Sports, Lethbridge.
Thanks, Romy. The puck drops on the Horns and Cougs tonight at 7 o'clock at the Nicholas Sharon Arena, and Daryl Rummold will have the call on CanadaWest.tv. The Lady Pronghorns, meanwhile, are on the road in Regina taking on the Cougars. The Horns are looking for their first win on the year after a weekend series loss to the Calgary Dinos to start the season last weekend. Well, you can expect the Lady Pronghorns to be flying on the rugby pitch 2 weeks after suffering a stunning upset defeat at the hands of the Calgary Dinos. The Horns are in Edmonton to take on the University of Alberta Pandas. Head coach Neil Langevin says the Pandas have continued to get stronger as a program in the past 3 seasons and expects Sunday's contest to be a tough one. Game time is 1 o'clock at University Stadium. The Pronghorns men's basketball team is in the midst of a 3-game U.S. road trip. The Horns dropped a close one last night to the University of Great Falls, 72-68 the final score. Morgan Deuce poured in 24 points for the Horns. Derek Waldner had 12. Couple of games under the lights on Friday night in the Southern Alberta High School Football League. The Chinook High School Coyotes will take on the Willow Creek Cobras in Claresholm at 7 o'clock. Ends the Battle of the Cougars as Cardston hosts Catholic Central. Game time for that one is also 7 o'clock, Jackie.
Well, the snow is pretty much melted.
Good.
And Dory says it's going to stay away for a few days, but that's not the case down under. Coming up, we're going to show you what they got in Australia.
Oh my.
Yeah.
It's summer there, isn't it?
Spring.